Hello, and welcome back to the GTD Podcast. I'm the Norax. I speak for the podcast, and hello once again. This is the first consecutive week we've had in a little while, but that's fine. I'm here, as always, with my lovely co-hosts, Matthew.
Hello.
And Devin.
Hello. This is working, right?
We are indeed both hosts. Well, co-hosts.
You're both hosts of a co-variety.
This works, right?
What?
Yeah, we're hearing audio.
Mic is connected to the audio.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Did you want to use that one?
Yes. It's a little bit less grabbing all the sound in the world. My chair is super creaky.
I see.
We can still hear your chair.
So yeah, we're this is our second consecutive podcast. It's amazing, isn't it?
No, but it is our first consecutive episode, one after another in a while, because we've been taking weird breaks here and there. But that's fine. Yes, we have several things coming on the show. We're going to be talking about what we have been doing this week, as well as trailers. Oops, I need to get back to that. Trailers, toast topics, news, shameless self-promotion, and the end of the show. Specifically for trailers, we have 4 trailers, and news, lots of it, more Activision Blizzard. I hate the fact that we cover it every week at this point, but there is new Activision Blizzard news weekly at this point. It is astounding, to say the least.
Interesting.
It baffles my brain. But we'll get to that when we do. So let's just get into the show, shall we? Matthew, what have you been up to this week?
What have I been doing? Well,
yes.
First off, I haven't really played any video games, but aside from video games, I've played some D&D, I've been writing, and I have finished I have finished writing, not fixing typos or anything like that, just finished writing the script for the first episode of the Explorers Forgotten. Now I just need to fix all of the audio, not audio. Now I just need to fix all of that, like typo and stuff, so that it's readable. Then
I see.
And then do a test length thing. No, I did something similar, but I wanted to see that sound effects. But in any case, and then I need to figure out all the voice acting stuff too, which is
Best part, right?
So I can't confirm anything about this project.
I see.
So yeah. And I've been writing stuff for the game system.
You're gonna keep talking about that game system till the end of time at this rate.
No, I'm not. Not true. It will be done eventually.
Alex, I'm excited for that day, even if it's very far away.
Maybe a year, I don't know.
Maybe a year.
And then I just have to fix all the typos.
Yeah, that's a fun part.
That's easier. Just have a bunch of other people read it.
I mean, that's kind of what I did.
Exactly.
Yeah, when I was writing my book, I literally just gave it to more people until they found all the typos.
Well, that is.
I don't need to find all.
That is
the
what
typos.
proofreading
I just
is.
Need to find the majorly confusing ones.
That is what
Yeah.
proofreading is.
Confusing.
And there still managed to be like 1 or 2 typos.
Eventually, I'll
Well,
get playtesting
you
with that system. But that's a future thing.
yes,
But I'm
much like
almost
in the
done.
same way that all of my campaigns are a future thing.
No, I'm almost done with a quarter, half, an amount of the character creation section. I'm almost done with the races.
All right then, whatever you
And after
say.
the races, I really just need to go to classes.
I mean,
Because
I guess that's true.
that's the base of the character creation. And then I can have different chapters for other stuff, like combat and equipment. All that stuff.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. I have no idea how long it will take to write.
Well, things take a long time to write. And if you're a stubborn jackass like me, it takes even longer.
Well, I think that's stubborn in what way?
The worst kind of way.
Well, that's not helpful at all. That's the worst kind of stubborn.
It's one of those things where, you know how I've always said that I know how to do a lot of things but couldn't actually do it? That's kind of the thing. It's like I know technically how to write a book and the things that go into making one, but I can't write one because I don't have the skills to do it.
Yeah,
it's one of those
and
things
I have
where
skills to do it, but I just can't motivate myself to do it.
I see.
Well, then to both of you, just do it and see what the outcome is.
Right.
I'm not saying that, by the way. I'm not saying that because, like, oh, I think I'm such a good writer. People have said that to me, although I've also already written a book, so I'm a little bit cheating there.
Yeah,
write
that
another
is
book.
technically cheating.
Also, half your book is a game system, Devin.
It's still a full book, though.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah, that is
What
that
have
is
you
very
made
much
so far?
the
What, a
case.
game system that's twice as long as my book? The first few pages of your, I don't know what
The
you're
first
talking.
30 pages.
It's not hard to be longer than a novella, though.
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, it doesn't
Anyway.
necessarily. It doesn't for me. It's not necessarily
what were
motivation.
we on
It's
about?
this. Well, you're about.
Well,
to go,
you've
I
said
assume.
that you want to get the words and stuff right when you're writing something, right?
Yeah, I have a nasty habit of thinking of whole sentences before I write them down, which is something I've gotten better at as I've weirdly doing this podcast has helped because if I write descriptions for videos and stuff, so it's not like a major thing, but it has helped me just do one word at a time instead of thinking of whole sentences.
That's cool.
But outside of that,
Yeah.
the other problem is that I have this other nasty habit I have is something I didn't even realize I had is I tend to do things. It's weird, right? Because it doesn't apply to video games. I'll bash my head away at a video game for hours and hours on end, and it doesn't matter how many times I fuck up, I'll just keep going at it. But with other things, I have this weird, I don't know, it's like I give up if I don't do it on the first try for some reason. I don't know why I have this weird thing. I don't know what it specifically applies to, but I noticed that this was the case when I tried to write something last week. It's not like I'll never go back to it. It's just I was trying to write something down and I just kind of gave up because I wasn't doing it. I don't know where this comes from, and I don't know what else it applies to in my life, but it's weird that it doesn't apply to video games, which are the most trial and error thing in existence.
I know why.
Why?
So video game, I mean, it's partly due to the fact that video games give an easy reward, but it's not just that. It's easy to account for that, where it's like, oh yes, video games, easy reward, easy join, but not really, because you still have to put in all the effort to actually get the reward.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
the trick is they give you an easy thing to do next.
Restart the game and play again.
No, like an easy. Okay. Writing as a process is not a thing where you just obviously know what you're doing next, other than sitting down, and then suddenly you have to figure out what to do next.
I mean, yeah.
This is why writers with outlines are very professional and actually able to do their job, and they explain how they could never do their job this well without their outlines, which is sad because I don't like outlines.
I'm working on doing the outlines thing. It's easier that way.
I mean, it's, to
I
each
haven't
their
actually
own.
written the book yet, but I've seen how outlines help with other things. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I do suppose you have a point in that regard, because if like, just taking Dark Souls as an example, because it's, I don't like it. It is a hard game from the perspective of a new player. So it is one of those things where, I mean, I played through Dark Souls, my first time, or, like, I had a first playthrough of Dark Souls. You know what I mean? I didn't give up.
Cut out for about
I didn't. What? Where did
Your
I cut
audio
out?
cut out earlier.
When?
I don't remember what you were saying.
Well, basically what I was saying is that, like, obviously I had a first playthrough of Dark Souls,
and
I didn't give up at all during that process.
Sure.
So perhaps it is more of like, I mean, video games aren't all encompassing, nor are they particularly like, what's the word? Like, they're not difficult problems that take up your entire purview. It's not one of those things where if you try and think about it all at once, it bogs down. It bogs you down.
Sure.
But obviously I didn't give up, so you probably have a point in that regard, because in Dark Souls, if you're talking about the bosses specifically, the bosses are this hard challenge that you have to get past to continue the game. And normally after every boss is like just a slow, like, normally after every boss there's at least a bit of safety completely to you. Like, no enemies, no nothing, just you and the environment. So I can very much see that being the case for games.
Made to be played.
They're
made to be played.
Yes, you're correct, but there's lots of people that don't do that. There's lots of people that give up on things in video games because they don't want to play it. Like you, yes, like you.
Yep.
Definitely like you.
I think actually that one of the trailers, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but one of the trailers made me think I could actually see playing a Dark Souls like game. I just think I just don't like the aesthetic very much.
Well, Dark Souls,
I think that's largely what
Dark Souls, much like all of From Software's games, are kind of somber and bleak in terms of atmosphere. It has this like somber, melancholic feel throughout the whole game. But the thing about that is that if you're going to have that kind of oppressive tone for a game, you need to have patches of color and life, which all the games in this series do.
But everything is still dark and gruesome.
I mean, I suppose. I mean, it's not like Well, that's the thing. The reason patches of color in life help is because it's not like all hope is lost in the world. There's still people clinging to hope and something to, go forward with.
Yeah, but
and
the color palette, I think.
No,
Okay.
continue.
No, I think it's just the color palette. I just don't find the color palette very lively. Like, you could show me a game that's like all about horrible murder and evil things happening and like war and stuff, but if it's like bright colors, I think it might be the children's programming effect, because like children's programming is always like brighter colors and stuff.
Yeah. Draw you in.
Yeah.
Bright colors and loud noises.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I like
suppose.
that. I just like that. I like bright, well, maybe not loud noise, but I like bright colors. Bright colors are very nice.
All right.
They're very appealing to my
I see. All right, Matthew, is that all you have done this week?
Yep.
All right, Devin, moving on to you then.
Yeah, I played a little bit of this new game called Wool Wars, which is another Hypixel minigame on Minecraft. It's kind of fun, but it's also really bad. Like, I could see playing Wool Wars with a group of friends, but it's really bad to play on your own, because it's literally like the way they've designed the game and the current matchmaking system. Pretty much every game you either win because you have a really skilled person on your team, or you lose because you're going up against a skilled team. And sometimes, like, there are maybe 1 in 10 games. The games go by really, 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 really fast. But maybe 1 in 10 games you'll be able to have a shot, because you'll be against people of roughly your skill level. But there are so many people playing in parties, and the matchmaking doesn't match the parties up against each other as much. So it's just normal people versus a party, and they get crushed.
I see.
And it's fun, but it's also like, it's the kind of thing that I don't know. It could be fun to do with like a group of people. Like, if you got 8 people together and you all joined the game together, played a private match of some kind somehow, that could be fun. But it doesn't have, it basically, in a lot of games, like in Annihilation, which was the old video game that I really liked playing.
The old Minecraft minigame.
Yeah, the old Minecraft minigame. It took an hour or 2 to finish.
I mean, you could have games last like 3 minutes.
Yeah. But like, even like in Splatoon and stuff, well, okay, you could theoretically have games last 3 minutes, but they still had to go after the first 10 minutes, because you couldn't break nexuses until round 2. Anyway, point is, in all of these different games, there's also like warlords and stuff. Any game where you have a bunch of teams and the goal is to be the last team standing, there are usually different things, like different ways to contribute to the game.
Yes.
And in Wool Wars, there are 2 things you can do. You can fight, and you can break blocks and then replace them with wool. And there's only 9 of them. And once you filled your entire little area in the middle with wool, then your team wins.
I see.
And if you kill all the enemies, then your team has to fill the wool still. And it's like a 1 minute timer or a 2 minute timer or something. It's really fast.
I see.
And the thing is, sure, you could say that there's variety, but like in something like Bed Wars, there's like 9 different things you can do. You could go gather resources to support your team. There are different resources you could gather. There are defending versus attacking versus taunting. There's bridge building that you can do to get your foundations. I don't remember what the word is. The not economic, the industry, architecture. Whatever. Get the base. Well, like like you have like roads in real life. So in this game, you build your roads parentheses so that your team can go around from place to place. And you can do all of this with resources which you can decide how to spend. And so the amount of like different choices you can make is insane. And even more importantly, there are far more unskilled Bed Wars players than there are highly skilled Bed Wars players. So your games are going to generally be games where lower skilled people can be competitive and actually contribute to their team. Whereas in Wool Wars, you barely do anything. It feels like I barely do anything. Like
I see.
Yeah. And your team, if you have a bad team in Wool Wars, you get crushed. Whereas if you have a bad team in Bed Wars, you can still survive and win. Your team hardly. I mean, your team can matter, but it doesn't matter as much.
I see. Sounds like it's poorly designed.
No, it's just designed differently. I mean, if it was trying to be Bed Wars, it's poorly designed. I like Bed Wars' design more. But I think for people who like combat, it's able to emphasize their combat ability far more than Bed Wars. Yeah. Because in Bed Wars, you can be really good at fighting and lose.
Yeah.
Just because someone like me will come along where I suck at fighting, but I can break beds. And I know your psychology, so I can make you waste your time. Stuff.
Yeah. I just feel like any team-based multiplayer anything is going to be highly dependent on your team pulling their weight. It's the same with any multiplayer shooter or just objective-based game. But usually in those, at least the team has a wider variety of options to choose from.
Yeah.
So, it's like maybe there are different classes or different things they can do. Like there are different classes.
There's the class that's better at breaking things, and the class that's better at fighting, and then the class that's better at fighting, and then the other class that's better at fighting, and then there's like 6 classes. They have various degrees of being good at breaking things, various degrees of being good at fighting, and I think then there's also a mobility class and an armor class. And like there are tactics, but every single tactic revolves around fighting.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, like a team-based game that entirely depends on how good your team is going to be with limited options at your disposal is a recipe for what you just described. It's basically like people joining in as parties to dominate the playing field because of the way matchmaking works, and also just Minecraft combat is terrible. So
no, it's not, Aaron. What are you talking about? Minecraft combat being completely unable to hit anyone is not terrible. It's just how it was. It's just how it's designed for some reason. It's just how it works. You just got to deal with it and learn how to
yes.
Yeah. Yep. You just got to learn how to deal with it.
I don't get...
I still have no idea how to do that, though.
Don't worry, one day you'll figure it out, and then you'll be like, wow, I can't believe I wasted all this time figuring out this mechanic. I have actually learned how to do combat. Like, I've been able to 3v1, I've been able to 4v1, and I've been able to pretty reliably kill highly skilled players. But the problem is, highly skilled players have learned that the real way to take on people is to use multiple people or upgrade your armor or whatever. So I've gone up against people who are really skilled and I can beat them, but they have better stuff or they have a teammate next to them, and then I can't win. And they only come after me with this extra help after I've already beaten them once, if I've beaten them once. And I usually have to like use tactics of like sneaking up on them or whatever. I can't like face them in a straight fight. Then they Howard.
Howard, what do you know? Clever person. I'm a clever person.
Yeah.
So they have a boy.
Charging is the finest strategy.
Charging, okay.
Yeah,
We can disagree on
combat
this.
is... I don't understand PvP in Minecraft.
It's math.
In Minecraft
somewhat.
is thought out.
What?
I said it's thought out.
The PvP is.
Yes.
I mean, I guess it technically is. You're not incorrect about that.
People have figured out exactly how it works, and then they've extrapolated on that.
Exploited it.
And exploited it, yes.
People with worse internet than you do better because they lag around your screen.
I don't know if that's true.
It's definitely true.
Okay. People who hack are problems.
Yeah, but I mean, just like people.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people just lagging around your screen and then killing you out of nowhere is always annoying in any game. But it's especially, I would say, well, it's not especially, I guess, but it's very annoying in Minecraft, especially. I mean, it's especially annoying in Minecraft just because of the way the game is designed. You know?
Yeah. I get you.
But anything else you've been doing?
I've debated. I think I might actually but download one of the other games from Steam and play that later.
All right.
Because I'm just curious what they're like. I don't even remember what they all are. I've wanted to play some other games. Well, after playing a little bit of Minecraft Wool Wars, I'm just kind of crushed. I'm just like, wow, Wool Wars is nonsense.
Yeah.
And I miss the days of easy to defeat enemies in Bed Wars. Yeah.
I see. Oh, I can't beat the guys. Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then I get to not have to worry about playing. I just literally just run around taunting them all the time, and it's fun.
I see.
It's fun. I get to taunt people.
You're a poor sport, is what you're saying.
No. I'm not a poor sport. I'm just taunting them.
Right.
So they get taunted. I'm able to like run up to their bridge and then like attack them off of their bridge and just literally not actually be attacking them, just standing around making it hard for them to do anything. And it's so much fun. But people are smarter than that now. People have evolved to the point where they realize, I mean, not really, but like my matchmaking has changed. So I'm no longer going up against those people, which is sad.
I see.
Because it's fun. It's fun to be powerful.
It's fun to be a jackass. Just a little bit every now and then.
No, it's fun. I mean, The thing is, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, obviously,
her response should not be
It's a freaking Minecraft mini game where people are running at you like dumbasses.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not even real, like, they're just running at you.
Yeah, it's not even a real skill game. I get to just have fun pretending that I'm really good at this game. Yeah. It's fun.
Well, I'm glad you have fun.
Yes. Well, I'm not having fun anymore. Everyone's too good now.
Everyone's too good for me to have fun. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're too good for me to have fun.
Exactly. That's the best outlook to have.
They're ruining it for me, man. I don't know what this world's coming to. People are getting good at video games. They're not letting me have fun. What's next?
I don't know. Oh, I don't know, man. Next thing they're gonna do is like just. Next thing they're gonna do is become worse. But to the point that it's not fun anymore. I don't know.
It's always kind of fun when people are bad, though.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, that's just because for some reason humans like laughing at other people. I don't know. Like, it might be a cultural thing, but I don't think it is. Like, humans really like laughing at other people's misfortune. I don't know where it comes from, but it's kind of weird.
No.
I don't know.
Nah.
All right, so that's what game were you specifically thinking about, or just any of them?
Oh, I don't know.
All right,
I'll
so
load up
that's
Steam. Let me.
so that's all.
Yeah, I mean, Minecraft. I think I did something else, but I can't even remember what it was.
Right.
Back for Blood. I could try playing Back for Blood.
Mhm.
I could go back through my Steam, through the gifts that aren't even on here anymore. I have to use the restroom.
Nice information drop.
This War Machine, Back for Blood, Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
Spyro. I could play Spyro. I can't play Spyro anymore.
Why can't you play Spyro?
The Long Dark, Monaco. There's a because I think it's a Mac, not a non-Mac game. Let me see. Spyro Reignited. Yeah, only available for PC.
All right then.
That was one of the games I was like, hey, Aaron really likes Spyro. I'll try playing Spyro. Nope.
Well, I mean, you still can play it. Just, you know. And I do like Spyro. It's one of my favorite franchises. All right.
So I'll have to look at the list and figure out a video game.
Yeah. Well, do that. Broaden your gaming horizons and enjoy the endless deluge of video games that come out every week. You know? It's hard keeping up with games sometimes, man. They come out so often.
Yeah, this is my initial problem with it. Like back many years ago, I was just like, there are so many games. Why don't I just find the best game and then play that one? And then I don't worry about it.
The best game is subjective, though. There are objective points about games, but what is the best game to you would be subjective. Also, it's Minecraft, because that's just really the way it is, apparently.
Yes, very easy to decide the best game. And Minecraft is the best game.
All right, then. So I've actually listed like 3 times, but that's all you did this week?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, cool.
Boring
Moving on to me, I suppose. So I guess I should say, since most of you or anybody that cares would be expecting, hey, I played the demo of Themasia, so here's how it is, except I didn't, because I ran out of time, because it was a timed demo until the 9th.
Oh no.
So I meant to play it and give you a report of what the game was like. However, a lot of things came up that massively distracted me from what I wanted to do. Specifically, I don't know if you can tell, but the heat is increasing as summer is continuing, and my internet is, bro, fuck you.
Yeah.
Hello?
What?
Hello?
Yeah, I assume I cut off at some point?
I heard what you said.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
you
you heard me
off.
say fuck you to the internet?
Yeah.
Because both of you froze, so I thought I just cut out. Anyways, sorry about that. Basically, air conditioner is still it's a little not working, so a little warm over the weekend and also today, but that's fine. We'll have a solution to that soon. Other than that, it's just a lot of the different distractions that came up over the course of those days for me to not play the game. So I didn't play the demo, which means I don't have an update on what the game is actually like. However, it probably is good. I don't know. I mean, I've looked at the trailer, so it's like it looks fine for what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. But other than me not me technically going back on my promise to play the demo of a game, that is kind of the story for the rest of the week, though, in a way, is just the air conditioner being a problem, and also a lot of other things coming up to make me busy. So I haven't really played games. I also, it's weird. Like, I have this massive shelf of games behind me, and I've been thinking about replaying the Sly Cooper series, which is a game series I have 100% completed already, so I don't need to replay them, but I want to because I like their games. But aside from that, like, I was thinking about it, and it made me realize, like, a lot of the games that I do end up playing are games I've already played. I replay a lot of titles. Not just Dark Souls. Dark Souls is the most immediate option that comes to people's heads at this point, I think, though, just because I've talked about it way too much. But like I've replayed a lot of different game titles. And I don't know, a lot of them are older games, obviously, because I'm replaying them. I had this weird thought where it's like, I feel like I'm wasting people's time talking about games from like 20 years ago.
No.
Games that I've played recently.
If the games are good, you're not wasting people's time.
No, you're not.
If the games are not worth talking about, then you are wasting people's time.
Every game is worth talking about if you have something to talk about, obviously, because that's how words work.
And even things that are worth talking about aren't worth talking about if you have nothing to say about them.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
yes.
or whenever it was when I was talking about that guy that I really like the YouTuber, but his criticism has evolved to, or devolved to, just it's good, it's bad, and then he talks about it for a minute somehow after saying that, and then he says it's good or bad, and then he moves on.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of easy. Camera's going down for some reason. I think it's kind of easy to fall into a rut with criticism like that, because if you've gone through so many games, if you're a game critic and you go through like so many games or just pieces of media, eventually you'll start noticing patterns in them. And am I frozen? I don't know if I'm frozen or not. You two are frozen, but I'll just keep talking, I guess. But it's easy to sort of fall into that pattern of criticism where you're just saying things are good or bad based on a few key points just because you've reviewed so much.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel that sometimes too, where it's just like, I don't know what to fucking say about this. I've said so much about so many things. What do you want from me? I felt that sometimes, but you just gotta power through it, and actually, a good way to avoid that is to only talk about things that genuinely interest you instead of trying to talk about everything. Because if you're talking about something that you automatically have a bias against, then it's going to be worse criticism than it would be otherwise if you actually had an interest or liked what you're talking about. So if you're a reviewer, you should probably specialize your reviews to things you actually understand and enjoy. Which is what I sort of attempt to do, but I also, based on previous episodes, seemingly don't have a least favorite type of game. Apparently my horizons are too broad. That seems to be the case for a lot of things in my life, though. I don't know why. I like things too much. I don't know. maybe it's just because I haven't played enough video games, which would be ironic. But I feel like I kind of have a more critical eye for movies than I do video games sometimes. I don't know if it's just because I've watched more movies. It's possible. There are definitely more movies that I objectively hate and dislike than video games. Like, I can't even really think of a video game that I actively dislike. Well, I guess Dark Souls 2, but that's kind of, I don't know. I've talked about that too many times, so it's, you know, its own category at this point.
It's not special anymore.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I guess it's because, I guess this is like a mini rant at this point, but I guess it's because, like, it's easier to invest time into a bad movie because it's just a passive viewing experience. But investing time in a bad game is a lot harder because you actually have to actively play through it, and how video games can be bad is a lot more varied than how movies can be bad, because movies being bad is like, you know, maybe the effects are bad, the story, characters, odd direction choices. Video games, it's like, video games being bad is like, maybe this game is just actively buggy and broken, and me trying to go through it is a fucking pain in the ass. It's like, you know, maybe one mission in the game is bugged to the point where it's basically a random chance that you'll actually succeed the mission because of this weird bug in the game. Like, games being bad is like massively varied because it could be anywhere from like the game is just really buggy to the point of being unplayable, or it's just kind of a bland, okay experience, or it just has like poor design choices that make it hard to get through. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I feel like I have a more critical eye to movies rather than games. But you know, I'll expand my horizons one day when I get through this wall behind me. It's a wall. It's probably like a 1.5 foot thick wall of games. It's not great, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, that's what I've been up to this week, I guess. It was like a mini rant, but whatever. Yeah, so let's just go into trailers, I guess, unless either have anything else to say. Okay, cool. So first trailer we have for today is for Gunbrella. Official reveal trailer. Oh boy, everything's gonna load slow today. Oh, there it goes. So Gunbrella is as it describes itself, a noir punk, which presumably steampunk from the looks of the trailer. It is a words fail me. I can't remember the words. 2D platformer, that's the word. I couldn't remember the name of a very specific type of video game genre for some reason. It is a 2D action platformer with pixelated, very nice looking pixelated graphics, where you play as this little cowboy guy. I don't know how else to describe him. With a, well, as the name implies, a umbrella gun, a gunbrella, if you will. Yeah. So, and that's the sort of the main selling point of the entire game, pretty much. And I will say, when I saw this trailer, it instantly, this trailer did something that not a lot of trailers do, which is instantly hook me to the game. Yep. It's like, oh, you have immediately sold yourself to me on your mechanics alone. I like that when I like it when a game does that, because it means it has a lot of like sturdy, it has you know, a sturdy foundation to stand on to do other things. But so like I said, it's a 2D action platformer where you shoot things with your gun, but it's also an umbrella. And what can you do with this umbrella? Well, it's a multifaceted tool that lets you hover around, block projectiles, and what's the term? Slide on ropes. Okay, I shouldn't say this is a new thing. This specifically is a new thing, but there's a lot of games in this sort of category of 2D action platformer with, of like a very set of refined mechanic as the main thing you're doing. It's like the main, like all of the stuff you're doing in this game revolves around this one utility. Like all of the gameplay itself revolves around using this utility. So I like it. It's cool when games do. I'm stumbling over my words today. It's cool when games do this because it means it's very refined in regards to its gameplay mechanics, because it's just one thing that is highly refined and has a lot of stuff to do with it. It's not multiple things, and all that. Yeah, it looks very versatile with what you can do with it as well from the trailer. But yeah, what do you two think?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't even know why I asked, Matthew, at this point. Mm-hmm.
So should I
What?
I share my thoughts? I will share my thoughts.
I told you. Yeah, go ahead, share your thoughts about Gunbrella, man.
The trailer was able to evoke like emotions where it's like, ooh, this is a neat game, and it's able to make you really feel like, ooh, I know what it'll be like playing this, without actually giving you like it doesn't make you feel like you've already played it. But it gives you like a taste of like, this is what it'll be like playing it, while also like hinting at like larger mechanics, because it's an umbrella gun.
Yeah,
and if you have an umbrella gun that can also block bullets, well, what other things could they extend that kind of logic to for the umbrella to do? You can float with it, probably. You could, I don't know, what else could you do with an umbrella? You could probably make melee attacks, maybe.
Yeah, you probably could.
If you're low on ammo, if there is ammo, you could what?
Possibly. There seems to be very limited UI, or very small. What's the term? Not limited.
Okay.
A better word than limited. It's like
small number.
Sure, small number of UI elements, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very like old school.
But what I mean is like, yeah. And it looks really cool, because you could literally design like puzzles around like blocking in the right direction or whatever. And it looks like you can't block and attack at the same time. So maybe you could have an area where there's like stuff dropping on you from above and you have to block it, but then also fight enemies. And there's a lot of potential for very interesting levels.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree on that. Because, like you said, it's...
But...
Oh, yes?
Oh. But on top of that, it's all wrapped up in this really cute shell. And that's what matters to me, is the cute shell looks amazing.
I see.
Yeah. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah. I see. All right, then. That's fair. But yeah, I very much agree with what you have to say about the game, just because, like I said, it's this very like small set of very refined gameplay mechanics that like take you through the whole game. You like, yeah, it's very cool. But yes, Gunbrella, damn throat. Gunbrella will be releasing next year. It's headed to PC and Nintendo Switch next year. In 2023, 2023 sometime. So next year. But it already looks like they have a nice foundation on a lot of stuff to show off. So I'm interested to see what the final product's going to be. And also, I like Devin mentioned, I do actually quite like the aesthetic. I'm not sure if cutesy is the word I would use to describe it, but it is, very nice pixelated graphics. It's it calls itself a noir punk adventure, so it's obviously some kind of noir mixed with most likely steampunk from the aesthetic and ideas, which is cool. You don't really see a lot of steampunk stuff nowadays. The last steampunk related thing I could think of is like, what is that game? Steam, the world. I don't remember. I can't remember the name of the game. Steam something. This is gonna bother me. What was it called?
Hello?
Sorry. What? Hello?
What was what called? What was what called? I returned only to hear you talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Hello?
I was trying to I was talking about how I don't really see a lot of Steam or steampunk stuff in today, a lot. So Steam World Heist, that's what it was called. I was trying to remember another steampunk styled game. Steam World Heist, that's what it was called. So yes. Gunbrella looks very cool. Well, I'm very excited to play it when it comes out. This is one of those games, because it instantly hooked me, that I will definitely pick up when it eventually comes out. Mostly because by the time it comes out, I'll probably have a better financial situation. You'd hope. I don't know. And by financial situation, I mean money, just in general. But yes, Gunbrella looks very, very cool. Look forward to it, I guess. I mean, anything else to add? All right, cool. I think I finished my point about steampunk games not being too common. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but never mind. Moving on to the next trailer before I just talk myself into inexistence.
Well, I did notice that too, that there are less steampunk games. There are less steampunk games?
There aren't a lot of steampunk styled games.
Depends on what you classify as steampunk, but like old age steampunk, yeah, there's very few like old age steampunks.
I mean, I guess that's a fair point. Technically, steampunk is a weird genre, I guess you could call it, because it has a lot of like undefined elements.
There's
What?
A time period attached. Period attached to it.
Yeah, it has a specific time period attached to it, but it also has a bunch of other random stuff in it. Like, a lot of it is very undefined. Because it's like, if you look up steampunk, it's like, oh, look at all these people wearing Victorian clothing with mech arms and powered by steam. And it's like, that's not, unfair, what's the term? Interpretation of what steampunk is. I would say it's probably the most common interpretation. But, like, Treasure Planet is a good example of like a sort of steampunk-esque world, but that doesn't like go down the same path as like a lot of typical steampunk. Because Treasure Planet is this like it's in like this futuristic world, but it's also in like, aesthetically it's from like the 17 hundreds, because you have these like massive boats that just sail in space, and then you have a lot of like robot, advanced technology and other things, stuff like that. But it's vaguely steampunk aesthetic-esque, I suppose you could say. I don't know. Steampunk's, like I said, steampunk is just kind of weird and slightly undefined, which is something I learned the hard way when I tried designing a steampunk styled game a while ago. Because it's just like, well, I guess steampunk is just whatever you want it to be. It's like, this giant robot's powered by steam. Who cares? Like, okay, I guess. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Anyways, sorry for the deviation.
Sure.
So, next trailer we have on the list is for Wildfrost announcement trailer. One other thing I wanted to point out. Because I was looking at the developers of these games as well, because a lot of them seemed really familiar. Who made this one? Come on, computer, please deal with me for at least a little bit. But oh right, that's right. So Gunbrella is made by a new indie company, but their company name is Doinksoft. Like, I don't know if you noticed that in the trailer, but the studio name for the Gunbrella development team is Doinksoft, which is kind of funny. I don't know. Something I wanted to point out. But this one, for Wildfrost specifically, before I get into the game itself, it's being developed by Deadpan Games, which, if I remember, or rather, okay, so it's being published by Chucklefish, which are the same, who are the developers behind Starbound. And am I frozen? Could you still hear me?
Hear
What's
you.
going? What?
I said I can hear you.
Okay. Why is my computer keeps freezing, you guys, and I think I'm cutting out. Sorry. So it's being published by Chucklefish, who are the developers of Starbound, and Starbound? Yeah. Because Starbound, right? Am I going crazy? They're the developers of Starbound and publishers of stuff like Stardew Valley and other things. They're pretty well known. Yeah, Starbound. Why? It's the game you've been playing on and off, Devin. Starbound?
Yeah.
Anyways, so
okay,
it's being...
so they have that like pixel look.
Well, yeah, those games, but like it's being
that special pixel look.
In this case, it's specifically being published by Chucklefish, which are the developers of Starbound and publishers of a lot of other fairly popular games at this point, such as Stardew Valley, for instance, as well as quite a few others. And then Deadpan Games. Sorry. And then it's being developed by Deadpan Games, which were also the developers of Cave Blazers. If you've heard of that game. So I just wanted to give a bit of information background about the developers, just because, I mean, it's good to know who these are being made by and all that. It's also good to know what the record is. But yes, Wildfrost is a roguelike, from the game description itself, a roguelike deck building game set in the cold frost. But yes, it is it's a deck building card fighting game that also apparently has roguelike elements. And that's, I mean, it's basically it, I guess. I mean, there's more to describe about the game in terms of like features and looks, but that's the bare bones mechanics of it. It appears the cards battle on this sort of 2D plane facing each other, and you have a hand that you pull from to put the cards onto the field of battle. And much like every card builder and or card fighting game, it probably has a lot of different mechanics to go around in terms of like how much health creatures have or what effects cards do and all that good stuff from deck building games.
Yep, it looks boring. I didn't even finish the trailer. It's a deck building battle game. Why wouldn't you just play Magic?
Why wouldn't you just play Magic? Yes. Obviously.
There's an easy answer. It's because you're poor. No, just kidding.
Because you're poor, obviously. But yes, I mean, it looks fun enough for what the game is going for. Art style wise, I do quite like the sort of drawn art style, which is done by excuse me. It says who the art style. It's in combination with a game artist, designer, gazetteer in the trailer. Anyways. Why is there so much stuff in my throat? So, game is headed to Steam and Nintendo Switch winter this year. We did not have an exact release date, but this year, winter, sometime. So if you're interested, look forward, or, not look forward, fucking keep an eye on it. That's the word I was looking for. My brain is melting. What the hell is going on? But yes. Wildfrost. Matthew isn't here, but I presume he's going to say it looks fine. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about it, Devin? Or
nope. It looks like a game. It looks I don't know. It looks like Magic. The thing is, any card game you put online and you make into a video game, I just get confused.
Right.
And yeah. Like I'm confused. I don't get confused because it's like, oh no, card game. I mean, actually, that's literally why. It's because card game, video game. Like, why? It's like playing solitaire on a computer. It's like, why wouldn't you just do that not on a computer? You're making the game simulate you playing a game in the game.
I mean, I suppose. I mean, there are reasons to have a card game aesthetic in games like this, because it's like, you can do things like, obviously the aesthetically they're cards, but they're doing things and the game is doing things that cards can't do. And there's probably mechanics that you couldn't necessarily pull off in real life that are being attached to a lot of the cards. Or if you could, it would take a lot of like bookkeeping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
So there are reasons to make digital card games, and there's a reason they're popular, because there's a lot of these types of games. I've not seen one in this type of aesthetic before, but that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna fucking ruin my throat if I keep trying to get the thing out of it. But yes, Wildfrost, card battling, deck building game.
It's a game, all right.
I mean, I don't like you. There's a lot of like mechanics. Like you can watch the trailer for yourself. I put them in the description, so it's not like I have to describe the trailer in exact detail. But like, even without seeing the trailer, you can kind of imagine what type of mechanics are in the game, because when it's this type of game, there's a lot of similar mechanics that get drawn over. It's like, well, you can trade in. It's like, oh, well, you can probably trade in cards to get more powerful ones, or oh, well, there's a card shop and you can just buy cards, or oh, you can find them on the way and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like they're
We've talked about this nothing of a game for too long, Aaron.
yeah, whatever. Wildfrost. It looks fun in my opinion. And if you're interested in it, look forward to it when it releases in winter this year. So,
or don't.
That is also an option. Moving on to the next trailer. This one's taking a while. There it goes. This is so look. The third trailer is for SILT. SILT
is genuinely terrifying.
I kind of expected both of you to find it kind of scary.
No, here's the thing. It's terrifying because I don't know what it is. Like, that's the only reason it's scary. Because it's like you're a person, but you can like launch your soul out of your face or something, which is just, and it can go around and manipulate that. Just like But
well, yes, as
also like
continue.
It's like black on gray. I don't like it.
Well,
but I like it. Like, I actually like that aesthetic a little bit more than Dark Souls, because instead of being weird and shiny and old CGI looking, it's like this weird, like creepy movie looking vibe. I don't know.
Well, so this game is, as Devin mentioned, in a monochrome color palette. So it's like dark grays and your character is completely black, much like other beloved known games like Limbo, which had the same color palette. This is not made by the same people who did Limbo, but it is very much in the style of Limbo, if you've ever seen or played that game. Just to give a quick...
I might have seen stuff from that game.
Yeah, just to give a quick rundown. Limbo was a puzzle platformer from way back in the day at this point, probably over 10 years ago. Was an old indie puzzle platformer where you played it it was just a completely monochrome, like vaguely horror vibed game in a similar style to this, but it was just a platformer. You didn't have any weird mechanics like being able to project your soul into creatures to control them, which is what you can do in this game. From the looks of it anyways. I don't know if it's your soul, but that seems to be the case from the trailer. So SILT is it's a swimming game for one, which is pretty interesting and actually pretty unique if you think about it, because, well, not unique per se, but there aren't a lot of games that would be willing to go out of their way to make the entire thing underwater and swimming. What?
Small critique. There's
Yes.
a scene in the trailer where the character is swimming along. Okay, they're swimming along, and they maybe run into an obstacle that's a tooth in front of them. And so then they use their magic power to break the tooth that's in front of them, because it's a 2D game, and I assume they can't go around, but like it's also water, they can just go around. So,
or there are other teeth.
There's going to be some Pokemon level
there
physics.
Could also be
game.
other teeth.
I mean, it's just...
There could be other teeth. That's actually fair. I didn't even think of that. It looks like one big tooth, though. It looks like a big tooth. And even if there are other teeth, you can swim between them.
Break them.
Because it's an object obstructing your view, and that's how you see it when you're playing the game.
Whatever.
It's totally fine. It's just kind of funny. I mean, like, look, Pokemon does this with obstacles, and no one. People complain about it, but they don't. It's not a serious complaint.
It's a 2D plane, so it's like it's not a big deal. Yeah. It's just part of the presentation. But yes, as I was saying earlier, this game is entirely water-based. So as far as I can tell from the trailer, there aren't any bits where you go on dry land. So you're constantly swimming, which I know might sound bad to some people because swimming controls and water in general has kind of a bad reputation in video games. Like the water level is always like considered the worst level in a lot of games. It's like whenever there's a water level, that's usually the worst level, because especially in platforms, because it's like water just does nothing but slows you down and gives you awkward controls. In this instance, that probably won't be the case, because hopefully the swimming controls are actually decent, which would be weird if they weren't, because that's the entire game. But yes, I really enjoy. Have I explained? I don't think I've explained the game's mechanics perfectly, but yes, in SILT, you just to reestablish, in SILT, the main gameplay mechanic seems to be taking control of other creatures and or objects with your soul, moving them around to help you in the environment. So it's I have seen this kind of puzzle game before where it's like you take control of other things to help you do something. You know, that isn't technically a new concept in regards to this. Aesthetically, though, this is very cool. I really enjoy the monochrome aesthetic and all the weird imagery and just the underwater vibe to everything. You know, like this weird underwater machinery as well, all these crazy underwater creatures and other things. It's very it's very cool. What was I gonna say? Oh damn. Oh yes. Also, you play the game. The character you're playing as is wearing like an old school diving suit. You know, the one with like the big fishbowl helmets thing with the tiny screen. It's one of those. So it's a very old school
But he
diving
also can
suit.
breathe underwater.
So
he's not a human. He's clearly this strange monstrosity, terrifying monstrosity.
well, that's possible. That is very
Terrifying.
possible.
Terrifying.
Terrifying. Terrifying. I will also say
If he can project his soul into other creatures and then control them, I doubt.
good job muting yourself. Halfway through your sentence. All right then. But yes, SILT. Explore the depths in the puzzle adventure game, according to the description of the game itself.
Yeah, good name, I think. Maybe. Maybe.
Is it a good name?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought everything froze for a second. Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. Can you
Hello?
hear us?
Okay, good. Yep.
I can now.
All right. So you were saying.
I was saying it's a good name, but it doesn't exactly ring like it doesn't make me think, oh yes, that is exactly the like it doesn't make, I don't know, it doesn't make me think I don't know.
I mean, I get it. It's, you know, like the term
Yeah.
SILT is, you know, an aquatic
Like
term.
SILT works as a game. Yeah, like it works as a name. It's workable, but it doesn't feel like yes, SILT is this really cool game, because it doesn't feel like I don't know, the Deeps or whatever. What was that game that had a really cool name that was kind of like a fun like economics game where you like can pay pearls to each other and it's like Beyond the Deeps or something?
Oh, the board game?
Yeah, that board game.
Abyss, I believe.
Abyss. So, for example, if it were called Abyss, it'd be, oh, it's just a little scary.
Yeah, I get you.
But since it's called SILT, it's a little bit easier to forget about. And the name doesn't evoke what I think it will be like playing it. Unless it turns out it's just like a weird undersea adventure game with a couple of horror elements in the way it's designed and stuff. But like,
well, I
that's
feel like the trailers are pretty really good representation of what the game is going to be like, just based on, because it's a puzzle game, you know, like it's this underwater puzzle game where you're going through these things. There's probably dangers that could kill you, just based on the trailer, but you know, its main focus is like puzzle adventure. So I don't know. But yes, I do kind of agree with you in regards to SILT being an odd name.
Yeah.
It's not. It's one of those names where it's kind of like. It's one of those names where it's like, well, this is going to be hard to Google. You know, there sometimes games come out with names that are just hard to Google.
Yeah.
Because it's like you either have to put
that's
in
the other thing. Like Abyss the game. Oh no, never mind. Abyss also is hard to show up. If you
well,
look up
yeah,
Abyss,
but
you
that's
get a
like
bunch of movies.
it's more Abyss is like a very common word, is the thing. SILT is less of a common word.
The funny thing with it is that it actually worked as a name that was Googleable because it's something that people hardly ever Google on its own. You'll almost never Google the word it unless you're looking up it.
True.
And so it's just bam, and then it also works evocatively. And no one else can do it now because if they try to make their own it'll just get consumed underneath it.
IT.
Yeah. IT the movie. No.
Yeah, IT, you know, the IT department.
Oh.
No. I'm just saying you make a movie about the IT department and just call it IT. Anyways, but yes, SILT is one of those names for games where it's just like sometimes games come out with names that are just like hard to remember or hard to Google or hard to be just like, what the hell was that? It's kind of like there was a driving game that came out several years or quite a while ago just that had the name Fuel. That's just what its name was. The game was called Fuel.
Ow.
So that was really hard to
okay.
That's one of those games that's really hard to find.
And then you have really good games like the Goose Game.
Untitled Goose Game, obviously.
Yeah, that's a great name for a game.
I mean, I guess it's recognizable, but it's also lazy in a way. Because you're just saying, yeah, this is a game about a goose that I didn't bother to title, so it's called Untitled Goose Game. Which is fine. It's just, you know. Anyways, more relating back to SILT. It's coming hold on. Yes, coming June this year. Or at the very least to Twitch in June. Because one other thing I want to mention is that SILT is not like SILT hasn't released yet, but we have gotten information about this game before this trailer specifically, because this is just like this is announcing that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch essentially. But you know, we haven't talked about SILT, even though I don't know why, considering we would have been doing podcasts when originally the first trailer came out. I don't know why I didn't get it. It doesn't matter. It kind of matters, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, SILT, it looks cool. It looks cool. Yep. God damn it.
Okay,
Hello, and we are back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that brief jump cut. We had to fix some things. Okay, so getting back into what we were talking about, SILT. Yes, coming June this year. So look forward to it if you wish, I suppose. I don't know. Anything else to say about SILT? Good to know. Excuse me. All right. In that case, let's just move on. Let's just move on to our final trailer of the day. So, last trailer is for if my thing will load.
Best one.
What?
The best one.
The best one.
Every time you just have the best game included with the rest of them.
I always have the best games. Have you seen my collection? So this is the trailer for Another Crab's Treasure. Bit of an awkward title, but that's fine. Another Crab's Treasure announcement trailer. Another Crab's Treasure official announcement trailer. There we go. Jeez. So this is this is a geez, words fail me sometimes. This is so this game describes itself and sells itself as a Souls-like. I'm not entirely sure if Souls-like is like, I don't know. I guess it's whatever. Souls-like is kind of
not a Souls-like.
What?
That's the best part. It's not a Souls-like.
No, I mean it is as far as
mechanics.
So, well, not even mechanically. So the game itself seems more. It appears to be more of a. I mean, it has the it has a dodge roll. It has the combat. The melee action combat. I don't know if it'll have the difficulty or if the combat is slow paced at all, which is key markers of being Dark Souls or being Souls-likey. But it seems more focused on being a 3D platformer. In regards, like there is obviously combat and dodge rolls and a block button as well, but it seems more like a lot of the mechanics seem more focused on like 3D platforming, going up large things, having these interesting mechanics for that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like the Souls-like was a term created for games that are like Dark Souls, but I feel like we're stretching it a little thin. Just a tiny bit. Which is whatever. The game still looks really nice, though. It has this vibrant color palette of both undersea and on land. You're playing as a crab, which automatically makes it go up 3 points in my book. You're playing as what is the name?
Yep.
What's the name of the crab? Scuttler? I don't remember. It's the type of crab that like changes shells. Hermit. You're playing as a hermit crab. Specifically. Because you
can probably upgrade your shell, which sounds fun.
Yeah, it does appear that you can get different shells for blocking and or otherwise, which is cool. There also seems to be a mixture of purely underwater and possibly on land gameplay, unless it's all underwater and I'm seeing something about the trailer, which might be the case, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm sure other people like the game.
All right, what about you, Devin? You said this is the best trailer, and you seem to be quite interested in it. So
it's the best.
All right.
Rated T.
Oops. Well, first of all, it's got the most room for like mechanical changes, basically being able to tie the visuals and theme with mechanical changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then second, it's got this like almost cartoony feel without actually being a cartoony. So it's like I think it's probably because they like the style of game is Souls-like game, but it plays like a Souls-like game.
Yeah.
But the graphics don't look like that, and so you've got it's like this neat blend of two things that don't tie in very well, don't tie in very well, but aren't normally seen together. Well, I really like it.
it's funny you should say that, because that apparently is this developer's specialty when it comes to that. Because this is not their first quote-unquote Souls-like. They did release another title. What is this? It is Aggro. The developer's name is Aggro Crab. Just say Aggro Crab. They released hold on. I love it when game developers are just like, yeah, let's make her name Goofy, why not? Because the game development studio is called Aggro Crab.
Aggro Crab.
They also released, they also released, man, it was already been 2 years since that game. Jeez. So they previously released a game called Going Under, which was also this very like colorful, weird art style game that was like, it was like this. It was like an action roguelite that some people sort of described as a Souls-like back when it originally released. Don't know why specifically, but it's this weird roguelite where all of your attacks are physics based, where it's basically like everything is like based on the weird, it's all like physics based. I need to go to the actual trailer for this so I can see this in full again. Why won't you do anything? Oh my god, my computer. Fuck you. Okay, sorry. But load. Anyways. Yes, going under. Yeah, it's this. Everybody kind of looks like it has all these like weird color tones. Everything's like super colorful. In this weird roguelite setting, and everything, like all your attacks and everything are like momentum and physics based, was the main sort of selling point of it. Oh yeah, and the that's what it was. Yeah, so all of your attacks and stuff are like physics based things for some reason. So like you literally, like in order to attack, you literally have to like, like you're like in the trailer, specifically you're dragging this big block on a chain, and you specifically have to physically like move it around into enemies to damage it, and it's this weird physics-based attack object. Anyways, aside from, I just wanted to bring up Going Under just because they're very much in their element, is what I'll say. Like another Crab's Treasure is very much, it's not really in the style of their previous game, but it's very much in their element, I guess you could say.
Okay, they've done this before. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, so this looks like, I very much agree with you. It looks very good. I do like the sort of semi-cartoonish graphics with all these. There's like weird characters that appear, some bosses of some kind, the looks of it. I believe it's Call Your Home. Yeah, so yeah, that's a, I don't know, anything else to say, Kevin? Anything I want to talk about?
No.
Okay.
It's good. I
That's fair. It does look good. I am quite excited for it. So this will be heading. So you'll have to wait a while for this one. Come in 2023. Next year.
Yeah, that's the one sad part.
Yeah. Come in 2023 next year. Also, I believe it's going to be coming to the Switch and probably other consoles. Yes, you can get it on Steam as well. So you can get it on, you can get on Steam. You can get on, whatchamacallit, Nintendo Switch. God, I'm having problems. Anyway, so yes, that is another Crab's adventure. It looks very, very cool. I'm quite excited about it personally, and I'm interested to see what it does. It seems more straightforward than their last game to a degree, at least in terms of mechanics. Yes, and that is it for trailers, unless either of you have something else to say. Presuming no. Cool. Moving on to host topics. Do we have host topics? Otherwise, we'll just move on to news. No host topics?
I don't think so. We talked about metaverse last time.
Yeah, we did.
We could talk about games that make it easier to make games, but I don't remember the name of that. Is the game development platform Core? That's what it's called.
Core.
If you've heard of Core.
I don't actually think I have.
They're basically just like a game development, like they're kind of like Core and Roblox to a certain extent, and then maybe also Minecraft. How they're games. Okay, Minecraft's on like the farther end of that, but like games that people can make games inside of.
Yeah.
Or things that are designed to make people make games, like Mario Maker.
Mario Maker game builder garage, I believe it was called. Game something. You remember, we looked at it a while ago. Game something garage. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there is a weird subgenre of games to make games in. Little Big Planet was a big proponent of this back in the day, where the whole point, like, there was a story in the game, but the whole point of going through the story was to unlock like things to make your own levels with. So that Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3 did that very well. And then the new game by Media Molecule, Dream, I think it's called, which is basically just a weirdly, like, it's a game, but it's also this massive, it's like this game. It's a game in the sense that it's something that they developed for people to play, but it's essentially just a fairly advanced development tool that they released to the public in a way. Like, you can do a crazy amount of stuff with that. It's really weird how open it is to things you can do with it.
What's it called?
Dream? Hold on. Media Molecule. I can't spell. Media Molecule is Dreams. Yeah, it's just called Dreams. It was released 2 years ago. Yeah.
And it allows you to do what kind of things?
As far as I can tell, freaking anything. It's basically just it's basically just like development software in a way.
Okay.
Like, there are limits in, like, it gives you a set of tools to do things with, but you can seemingly do anything. Like, there's a lot you can do with it. Like, I've seen people where, like, people making their own games in it. Obviously, people also like recreating things in the game. It's very crazy looking. Because you can, like, because it's one of those things where it's like there's not a set of assets that you can use. You can create your own assets. for use. So it's like you don't have like a list of things to choose from where it's like, oh, you have like a block that you can place down and you can do stuff with it. It's like, no, you can just create your own assets. You can just create whatever you want out of the materials that the game gives you. It's ridiculous. Yes. There is this weird subgenre of games that make, games that make games. Like Mario Maker. What else? Like Mario Maker. Oh yeah, there was also there's this weird little piece of gaming history where back in the 90s during the PS1 era, Sony released a development kit to the public. So basically they were selling this big black version of the PS1 that came with development software that you could make your own games on, and you could actually send in those games to like I don't remember who specifically, but you could get those games you made on demo discs for the rest of the public to play at the time, which was really cool. It's genuinely really cool.
Yeah, other companies should do that.
I mean, I'm sure it was very expensive and weird, especially since demo discs don't exist anymore.
Oh.
Well, like it was in a time when demo discs were like the ways you got to play demos. It's like, oh, you get a demo disc of like a select number of games from like magazines or otherwise.
Mm-hmm. It'd still be cool.
I mean, it's a very cool concept, and it allows people's, creativity to really run rampant in regards to what it is, because they basically just let people do what they wanted. And those games, I mean, some of the games that were developed back then are now full games today. Like specifically, I don't remember the name of the game, but there's this game about like you're playing it's like this 2D platformer puzzle game where you play as a snail, and the whole concept behind it is time-based. So you can like create a version of you can like create different versions of yourself to go do an action. Like you can record yourself doing an action, and then a different version of yourself will go do the action, and you have to solve puzzles based around that. And if you touch another version of yourself at any time, you lose the game because you created a paradox by touching yourself. So yeah, that's probably like the biggest one I know that came out of that era, but it is very cool. I love stuff like that a lot. It's very, very interesting. But I don't know, in a way I kind of wish it wasn't just a subgenre, but at the same time, it doesn't really make sense, because it's at that point it's just like, here, make your own game. Game companies are just making games for people to make their own games, which is kind of weird if you think about it. Anyway, I guess we'll just hop into news, if that's fine with you, unless you wanted to talk or discuss anything else. All right, we had a mini host topic rant about, or I had a mini host topic rant about games. I suppose, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if we can get through all of this. So it probably won't take that long to get through the news. There is a lot of news, but it's like smaller bits that won't take too long, hopefully. So have either of you looked at this? I just want to know.
What, the news?
I looked at the titles.
Okay, so this first bit of news is fucking insane. I just want to, like...
I do not remember what it was.
Excuse me.
penalized.
AAA game quality would deteriorate.
That isn't the first one we're looking at. It's the
Oh.
couple above that. Because there's also
Activision inexplicably introduces tool. Is this what it is?
So yes, so fucking Activision Blizzard yesterday, literally, or not yesterday according to this recording, but like 2 days ago, yesterday for us. So Activision Blizzard has come out with a tool. What did they call it? King's Diversity Space Tool. It is a tool. The Diversity Space Tool is a tool that measures. Yeah, it's not even a measure. It's like it rates diversity metrics. Like it's
what?
It's insane.
Did I just hear it rates diversity metrics?
This is a thing that people joke about because it's dumb. Okay, so let me start from the top of this. Blizzard, officially, by the way, this was not a leak. They proudly announced this to
the article. Oh my gosh.
They proudly announced this to the world that this is something that they have in the works and have said is a good idea. So so Blizzard themselves on their website released an article that's, talked about what it was, which, by the way, within like several hours of the article being up, they changed what the article said. Like they backtracked immediately upon the article's release, which I'm going to be perfectly honest. I have other articles open about this. I'm very fucking disappointed in myself that I didn't take screenshots of the original article. Because I'm very disappointed in myself that I didn't take screenshots of the original article. They changed it. They took out some of the stuff that was originally in it. Luckily for me, there are people that already covered this. There are people that covered this that actually still have the original contents of the Blizzard, the official Blizzard article. Thankfully, I just wish I had, screenshot it myself because it's a wild ride. But to put it simply, so this tool was developed by King alongside MIT Tech. Or rather, MIT Tech essentially set up the basic framework, and then King, the Candy Crush company King, developed it over the course of several years as basically like a passion project in a weird way, because like it was literally something that they were developing off hours. It wasn't like it was literally people were spending off hours working on the tool. According to this article, it's because they simply believed in the potential. So
I don't disagree. There is lots of potential here.
Yeah, potential for stupidity. So the tool measures how diverse things are by attributing points. So there's like, it's fucking like look at these other articles that have screenshots of what the original article had. Like the Fanbyte article, the banner at the top with like the Overwatch characters next to this grid. You know what I'm seeing? Like, that looks ridiculous, right? It's like sexual orientation, gender identity, ethnicity, age, culture.
So what
like,
did I miss?
Points. And what are these graphs called? I don't remember. Hello? God damn it, internet. Please stay with me on this. I need you to explain how fucking batshit insane this is.
But what did I miss?
What did I miss? What happened? Why are you both frozen? Hello?
Oh my
I don't know.
God.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello?
I am here.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
We can hear you.
Yes. Cool. Anyways, I don't
So
know.
I
what
walked
happened.
away for a moment. What
My
did I
internet's
miss?
being weird. Anyway, so the banner at the top of the Fun Byte article, it's also in the Games Radar article. Like that with like the I don't know what you call these graphs, but the hexagon graph, the hexagon like thing with gender identity, sexual orientation, culture, ethnicity, age with like points and the Overwatch characters next to it.
Oh,
That
no.
looks ridiculous, right? That looks ridiculous. That looks stupid. That looks like an insane
How do I see
person.
this?
That was on the that's official. That's something that Blizzard themselves did.
Made. Yeah.
That was on the original. That was on the original official article. Like that banner was part of the original official article posted by Activision Blizzard. That is ridiculous to me. So, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent about this, but
Oh my goodness.
so a person by the name of Jacqueline Comatas, I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but I'm going to assume it's comatose because the only way you would come up with a idea like this if you were fucking comatose.
Wow,
So-
this is a thing.
So the way, so I'm going to go through this article by article. So according to Blizzard themselves on the slightly edited article, the way the tool works is to make more diverse characters, more diverse and inclusive, to make more diverse and inclusive characters, where is it? They sorry, hold on. I'm trying to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so the diversity space tool is a measurement device to help to identify how diverse a set of character traits are, and in turn to how diverse that character and casts are when compared to the norm, in quotations. Once it establishes a baseline for typical character traits, which is done by the creative team working closely with DI at it can then weigh new character designs against it to measure how their diversity during the process. The tool can also uncover unconscious biases, such as way certain character traits are seen as male versus female, or why characters for characters from certain ethnic backgrounds are given similar personalities. So
I'm actually hearing this, right?
yeah, no, I feel like I don't know what happened, but it is genuinely insane. So to put it more specifically, since Blizzard edited their original article, where is it? Okay, so the metrics it tests, the metrics that it goes through for diversity are culture, race, age, cognitive ability, physical ability, body type, facial features / beauty, gender identity, sexual orientation, and socioeconomic background.
Wow.
Using the Overwatch character Anna as the example, she has points in culture, race, age, physical ability, and gender identity. Essentially, the tool seems to start with the idea of so yes, like, first of all, based on what we know, it appears that the tool starts, the base of the tool appears to be white straight man, and then it diverges from there.
Interesting.
That appears to be what they have done.
Those are interesting metrics to go from.
Yeah, and it's 0 to 10. They rate it on a scale of 0 to 10 at how ethnically diverse you are. This is fucking insane.
Not sure how that works, but okay.
Well,
Like,
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, never mind.
what?
Yes. Where'd the article go? Where's the article? No, not that article. This article. Down here, it's talking about how using the heterosexual white male character as the default, and then every factor away from that are diversity points.
Yeah, how that works.
I mean, it's a codification of how intersectionalism works, though.
Well,
It makes sense.
they boiled down humans to fucking math, to a set of numbers.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a codification.
Also,
it's very strange. It's
Sounds like a thing. Not a good idea, but a thing.
It's fucking. It's genuinely
pretty
insane.
bad.
What?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like it's massively tone deaf and stupid. Now, some people, you could argue that the reason they presented this to the public so willingly is because they wanted to cover up, detract people's attention from all the terrible other things they've done recently.
I don't know why they'd want to do that.
Honestly, I don't think Blizzard is smart enough to do that, because this is just another mark against them. Like, they are insane. Whoever their PR department is they don't have one. They don't have a PR department anymore, as far as I can tell. The PR department burned down a long time ago with their credibility. So, like,
presumably.
So, like, they have tested this tool already internally at their studios. Specifically, they tested it on Overwatch characters and Call of Duty Vanguard. And apparently, the people who did the test were all extremely excited at how diverse their characters were based on the tool's assessment. So,
interesting.
Looks like, yeah, it's God. I mean, it's like this. I'm going insane. Like, you don't.
Yeah, it sounds insane.
Like, also, I'd like to point out that apparently, I don't know where it said this originally, but they tested this on several different Overwatch characters, and apparently, based on their measurements, Lucio, who is apparently a less diverse character than Bastion or something. Like, I know those words don't mean anything to you because you don't follow the game or the characters, but Lucio is like this. The character itself, Lucio, is like this hip hop artist type guy that runs on walls and words. I don't want to just say he's black. Sorry. I was trying to come up with more better words than just stating the obvious.
Yeah, okay. Wait,
But,
he's
yes.
less diverse because he's male. He's less diverse than a robot.
I guess. I don't fucking know, man.
Wait, where would the robot even be on
So
this?
Lucio versus
don't know.
Robot.
I think it was Bastion.
the
It might
robot's
have
name?
been.
No.
It might have been a different. No, I'm pretty sure it was Bastion. Yeah.
Age, ability. Okay,
Okay, what
fine.
does ability mean?
Like disabled or not disabled? How
Yeah.
disabled is the character?
Cognitive
Culture-
ability, physical ability. How do you measure those?
Culture,
How
race,
augmented are they?
age, cognitive ability, physical ability, body type, facial features / beauty, gender identity, sexual orientation,
Facial features / these are some extra. Oh my gosh.
and socioeconomic background.
Hmm.
Those are the
Okay,
things that the diversity tool tests for.
I see it.
And
Wow.
depending on how diverse it goes from 0 to 10
Yeah,
on
it
the
looks like a
on
very
their diversity
fun
scale.
tool to use, and
I-
yeah, it'll tell you numbers about people. It'll
Yeah.
let you
It's
like a
assign a number to
tool.
people.
Yeah,
a
let's
kind,
boil down
technically.
an entire, like, I just like to point out that on top of this being insane, they think this will, like, I don't know if they actually believe this shit or if they're just doing this to distract people or not, but it seems like they seem relatively passionate about it since this was in the works since 2016. So that's that. But what was I gonna say? Fuck, I lost my train of thought because of this dumbness. But like, anyways, I'll see if I can regain my train of thought. Like, I don't know. Oh, right. So like, they're obviously doing this because they want to be more diverse in the gaming sphere. It's like, oh, we created this tool so we can be diverse. But they went through all this trouble to create a tool that would have, like, they could have just hired people. They could have just hired more diverse staff members. Or they could have just done something like, it's insane.
Or they could have just done some research.
They also, yeah, that too.
Instead of creating a tool to do it.
Yeah, apparently.
Or, make stuff
right,
up
so
because it's a fictional game anyway.
We'll be
whatever.
right back. We'll be right back. 3, 2, 1. Yes, hello, we're back in. Sorry about that. But yes, moving back on, like, okay, so there's a lot to take in about this. I have 3 different articles open about this one thing. I highly suggest reading through each of them just because it gives a better, significant overview than I possibly could otherwise, just because I would be, if I did, I would just be reading the article at that point. You get the idea. But specifically, I want to bring up that beyond gaming, according to Blizzard, they think this tool will be helpful in all other types of media. Like, we'll just
They do know who writers are, right?
TV,
Good
film,
writers.
literature.
Do they know that writers don't need this? Like, good writers don't need this, shouldn't need this type
This
of
is a
tool?
problem that never existed that they created a solution to.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Good writers don't need tools like this because
So
they're
like,
competent writers.
yeah, but like, okay, like, this is really bad. Like, I know I've said that already, but like, they are doing this because they want to avoid tokenization and stereotypes, and they literally created a tool that just does that. It's like, that's measuring diversity entirely based on that.
Yeah, there are issues.
Like, this is literally, like, this just proves without a shadow of a doubt that companies, I mean, I already knew, and it's not like it wasn't public knowledge that the companies actually don't care that much and only do this stuff for brownie points. But they created a tool specifically designed to make diverse characters so they could win brownie points with dumb audience members. This is really dumb.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying that until it's no longer dumb, which it will never be. I'm gonna fucking
Yeah,
going.
it will never not be
I'm
done.
going light. I feel like I'm going lightheaded. Yeah, I don't know what planet I'm on
Well, that
anymore.
isn't good.
I don't know what happened, but where are we?
Earth.
What happened?
Free.
Did I fucking?
I think we're still on Earth.
Did I
Last
slip
checked.
into an alternate dimension where cartoon villains are currently at the head of companies? What happened? It's ridiculous.
Well, no.
This is the kind, like, hold on.
I don't
like,
think you just slipped into it.
sorry, this isn't necessarily related to cartoon, like, mustache twirling villains, because it's not technically evil, it's just really dumb. But that is something related to something else we're going to talk about that's Activision Blizzard related. But, like, the stuff that Activision Blizzard has been doing is literally what fucking mustache twirling cartoon villains would do with that tie to train tracks. Okay, so
I don't know if it's that bad.
Okay, maybe.
But yeah, having an ethnicity dial on your characters is kind of silly.
Yeah, because
especially since a character's cultural background, ethnicity, age, ability, body type, gender identity, sexual orientation, and what were the other ones?
Socioeconomic background.
Socioeconomic background, cognitive ability. None of these actually make a good or bad character.
No, they make a diverse character though.
Yeah.
According to statistics.
They're fun to wow. I can totally understand someone wanting to measure it because it feels like, oh man, wouldn't that be?
Well,
I actually have no idea what happened.
Well, Devin dropped.
Couldn't have been internet.
I don't.
What?
That's really weird. Well, why wouldn't your internet be gone?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't internet.
All right, shout at him. Tell him to rejoin.
I think his computer might have ran out of battery, but I don't know because he might not have had it plugged in. Is what I'm thinking. Nope, never mind.
He's back. What happened?
What happened?
Yeah, so I'm a dumbass. I went up to force quit an application. I was curious why this new notification showed up, and I may have accidentally clicked the sleep button.
Oopsies.
Which is right next to the force quit. Yeah.
Makes sense. All right. So what were you saying?
It just feels I don't know. The average person isn't gonna like this. The average person who cares about this isn't gonna like it, and the people who don't like it are just gonna think it's hilarious and sad.
Yeah, it's just
really obvious. But at the same time, I can kind of understand how someone was like, guys, I came up with this great idea. You know how we have the Bechdel test and we have these other tests and whatever to check if these things are diverse enough. Well, we actually can do it with numbers now, so we don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah,
we can graph things now. We look at this new tool we've created.
Let's boil down and simplify the entirety of human existence into what, 7 traits?
And it won't be contentious at all when we give one character a 7 on sexual orientation and another character a 5. Another well, that's the, like, what are these? That's the other thing.
Anything
that's the other thing about this thing is like, what do these numbers even mean? What does it mean to have a 7 on cult? Like, what is it? It's like, oh, Anna, the character they use in examples, like, okay, Anna is Egyptian, therefore she has a 7 on culture. Like, what does that mean?
What?
It means that
it means she's descended from Osiris.
It means that people have perspectives on this, I guess.
Also, what does the 7-1? So it's a 1 to 10 on age, right?
It's a 0 to 10. It's a 0 to 10 scale.
Okay, what does 0 on age mean? What does 10 on age mean?
Well, I assume
what does that even mean?
I assume it's 0 is most represented and 10 is least represented. So it's like if your character is heterosexual, it gets a 0 because that's the most that's the base that we're setting this upon and is the most represented, so it gets a 0. Everything starts at 0 and you gain point. Everything starts at straight heterosexual white man and it just diverges from there.
Yeah, because that's how things work. Didn't you know?
It's like yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've rambled enough about this, but my God, it is like,
yeah.
What even? I'd also like to point out that so the original article that Blizzard posted to their official website. It was edited. It was literally edited like yesterday, as of the recording of this, at 7 p.m. In the afternoon. And some of the stuff was taken out of the article, and they also added a editor's note because of the backlash they received at the top of the article. It's like, hey, please don't be angry at us. We're not super stupid. You can read that if you want, but
something I wanted to say. What I thought this diversity tool was something that you scan all of the characters that you've created for a project, and it detects like the diversity of the project, of all the characters of the cast, and not of each individual character. And I really don't understand that one. Like each individual character.
Yeah, each individual character. That way you can determine how diverse your cast is. Because they did it with, like I said, they also did it with the Call of Duty, what is it called? What's this? Oh, Vanguard.
It's very silly.
Yeah, they used the diversity tool to figure out what more diversity looks like across all of our characters in both campaign, multiplayer, and live seasons. And now they're going to use the data going forward or into the next games that they're working on.
Ow.
Overwatch 2 also did an experiment with the tool, and they were apparently equally enthused at first impressions.
My question is, how does this tool help you?
It doesn't, is the thing. That's the thing. It doesn't fucking help.
Exactly.
It helps you. What it does is that it helps you stereotype entire groups of people. It helps you. It helps you create. It helps you create diverse casts of characters for nothing more than brownie points to the public. It helps you not hire more diverse people to your offices that would actually help you be more diverse in general, or just, I don't know, go to a different country and live there for a few weeks, see how it goes.
No, that wouldn't make any sense, Aaron. Why would you think that?
Yeah.
Fuck me, man. Going to places?
Yeah, they also like, okay, I feel like I've ranted about this enough, but there's a lot of information. Like, if you want to read up more about this, all the articles will be in the description in the pinned comment. If you want to read up all of them yourself specifically, because my God, it is so stupid. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it for the Activision, the King's diversity tool. So dumb, so weird. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
pretty dumb.
Yeah, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Sometimes when I'm going through articles for this podcast, I feel like I'm on a different planet. I feel like I don't know. Like I sometimes I'm just like, I don't fucking know what's going on anymore. I don't know what to say. I don't know what's happening. Anyways, you know what? Let's just do the last bit of Activision Blizzard news before we blast through the rest of the news. So outside of this diversity tool that apparently they think is a good idea, Activision Blizzard also, so we have previously talked about Raven Software attempting to unionize and vote, doing their voting for unionization, and how, attempting to unionize. And they recently got the ability to vote whether or not they should unionize. So that vote was going through, and what was it? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So they were finally able to vote on unionizing. And apparently, ahead of the meeting, so the employees revealed Raven management. So apparently, ahead of the meeting to decide whether or not they wanted to unionize in the voting process, Activision sent emails to Ravensoft that basically to try and get them not to unionize. So specifically, ahead of Ravensoft were vote on whether from a legally binding union, Activision Blizzard has sent out anti-unionization emails to its staff. Both employees revealed Raven management held several meetings and town halls ahead of the workforce's upcoming vote to unionize. During one such town hall held on 26th April, Raven management reportedly inferred that any unionization within the company would impede game development and affect promotions and benefits. Following this meeting, employees then received an email with an attachment that simply read, "Please vote no." You'll be surprised.
What a great and convincing argument.
You'll be surprised to hear that none of them listened and all voted yes on unionization. You'll see if you're surprised to know.
That's good.
Just saying, please don't, didn't work. Seriously, they couldn't have thought of anything more persuasive.
So many of the employees voted yes on their ballot cards for unionization. Statement. Yeah, so last month they obtained approval from the National Labor Relations Board to vote on whether to unionize or not, and they have all voted majority yes. So they will most likely finally have a union, assuming nothing else goes awry. Like maybe they have a shitty union leader, but comes with the territory, I suppose. It's either having a shitty CEO or a shitty union leader. Hopefully they at least have a good one. So that vastly, like we've talked about this before, and you have your own opinions on unions. And like I said, it does very much depend on union leaders. And
I already said this. I think unions are fine. They just need to be able to be kept in check by the people who are part of the union.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like I do agree. It's like it's very much dependent on
companies. I think companies are fine. They just need to be kept in check by the people in the company. Which can be done, I guess, through a union, but it can also be done through other things, I'm sure.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, unions have, I would say, like, depending on, like, unions do kind of live and die by their union leaders and all that stuff, but at least to a degree, what?
No, nothing. Yeah.
What?
No, nothing. No, I agree. I actually agree.
I'm just it doesn't. What was I gonna say? But yes, live and die by the union leaders. Yes. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Regardless, Raven Software has finally been able to vote yes on their being union, and there are some quotes in the article from employees about how they feel now that they have finally been able to vote yes on it. I'll just read these two quotes since it's not that big a deal. Finally being able to vote yes made all that hard work we've put in over the past 5 months worth it. In fact, Activision tried to stop our union every step of the way, makes it clear that a union is necessary at this company. Also, I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say is that unions have a surprising amount of influence. Like, unions do have a lot of influence over, what they control, which is good. It's nice that unions still actually have a fair amount of power when they're run correctly. It's not like the UK where unions are nothing. Apparently unions in the UK are literally powerless.
Wow.
Apparently, yeah. It's bad. Anyways, moving back to the article. I will read one other quote by Raven Software. Actually, so in sorry. Apparently, the Thatcher administration really did a number on unionization in the UK. So that's a thing. But back to the article. So in lieu of this vote to unionize, following this approval from the NLRB, Activision released the following statement. While we respect the NLRB, which is National Labor Relations Board, process, we are disappointed the decision that could significantly impact the future of our entire studio will be made by fewer than 10% of our employees. We believe a direct relationship with team members is the best path to achieving an individual and company goals. Well, I mean, so here's my thought process. So the people that are voting on this is less than 10% of their employees, apparently, according to them. What's the rest of their employees doing? Eating dirt somewhere? Like, seriously. It's ridiculous. Also, the fact that, it's genuinely ridiculous. They tried so hard to make this unionization not happen. They literally just pathetically emailed employees, please vote no, as like a last-ditch attempt. And they have also been like, we can't believe that this is happening. We are very disappointed that the future of our studio will have to take the fall for the things we've done. We're very disappointed that the union will actually hold us accountable, is basically what they're saying. I'm probably going on a bit more of a rant about this than I need to, especially considering, I'm barely making a point at this juncture, but I don't know, anything to add or say? Okay. So yeah, good for Raven Software employees for finally being able to fucking unionize. Hopefully this will spur more unionization in the industry, and hopefully that unionization won't be, fucking spoiled by dumbasses. You can only hope for so much, though. Anyways, moving on to the next piece. So that's all the Activision Blizzard news. The rest of it is different stuff. So moving on to the next bit of news. So Microsoft has mentioned that they're apparently going to be releasing some kind of like what was it called? A game streaming device, kind of like what was it? Like where was it? Yeah. So it's kind of so apparently Microsoft is planning to release some kind of game streaming device that's kind of similar to like an Amazon, will likely be like an Amazon Fire Stick or perhaps a small Roku. Yeah, so the kind of the Fortnite. Yeah, so it's basically they're moving in more directions to cloud gaming and doing some kind of streaming device that you can just stream games through, and you can stream it through. You can possibly stream it through your Samsung Smart TV. You could possibly do that. Yeah, it's not that surprising that they're doing this. To be fair, this is kind of like it's not like super defined whether or not this is going to happen or what exactly it is, but this is something that they have on the table. So at the very least, it's interesting, I guess. It's not super surprising that they're doing this because Xbox really, or Microsoft really likes cloud gaming. So they've been doing streaming services they've been trying to implement streaming services for a while now. So but yeah, that's about it for that. It's not like the biggest piece. It's just like, hey, this is kind of vaguely interesting and also just a bit of a warning, I guess you could say. But moving on. So what is his name? Todd Howard? Not Todd Howard. Oh, that's right. This is Hiroki Totoki, who also Jim Ryan. That's what his name is. So PlayStation has said, PlayStation come out and said that they do not believe that having games available day one on their subscription service, PlayStation Now, I believe, would seriously deteriorate the quality of the games that they launch. Now, the thing about this is that, okay, well, yeah, so PlayStation said that, like, if they do this, they would have to cut the budgets and lower the quality of their AAA games. I'll just read this quote. I will refrain from making... This is from PlayStation executive Hiroki Totoki. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'll refrain from making comments on the competitor's strategy. Our current thinking is to have development costs and appropriate R&D investment for quality products, and that will improve the platform and also improve the business in the long run, which is like fair, I suppose. But also, my first cynical thought when I read this was, well, obviously they don't want to, put games on the streaming service day one, because then they would actually have to release products that work. And I'm aware that Xbox does this as well. They have like day one releases, but I haven't really heard anything about day one releases on Xbox being bad per se. I also don't like, here's the thing. When it comes to video games being bad at launch, it's usually like specific developers or multi-platform games, but I've never really heard of like games specifically released by them or games that they work on specifically being necessarily bad at launch. They probably are. I just haven't heard that much. But in regards to PlayStation, it's, I don't know. They probably don't have a worse track record considering, the companies aren't that different. One of them's based in Japan, one of them's based in America. They both sell consoles that are very expensive, and they also want exclusives. So they aren't that different. So they probably both have similar histories in regards to day one games being bad. But regardless, I do think it is kind of funny, at least to a degree, that PlayStation thinks they would have to seriously downgrade the quality of their games in order to have it day one on PlayStation Now. Mostly just because it's it's weird to me, because that says to me at the very least that they are vastly overspending on how much on video games. Like, that says to me they are spending way too much money developing video games. Like, because they're also planning on, Sony is looking to spend another roughly 200 or roughly 330 or $308 million on its first party games. It's like, that's a lot of money to spend specifically on first party titles. It's like, yeah, it also states that like this, what Totoki is saying also echoes stuff that Jim Ryan has said, which is the CEO of the American brand or the US branch of Sony. The games that we make are getting bigger, they're getting better, they're getting more beautiful, they're getting richer, the narrative is getting stronger, says Jim Ryan, big dummy. Sorry. But like, it's just strange to me, because obviously I get it's like, well, doing stuff at day one is like more difficult, but like, I just think it's weird because I think they're just spending too much money on making video games, especially in the first party regard, because video games are expensive to make, but they are way more expensive to make because companies spend too much money on making them. Like, they don't have to be as expensive as they are, but companies refuse to make smaller experience, or AAA developers at very least. Which is why every game for the past 10 years has been buggy as hell at launch, and we've just gotten used to it. That's just the new norm. The new norm in the AAA gaming sphere is just wait a couple months for the game to be playable. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be bad at launch, but that's how every game is. It's fine. Next thing that you know, they'll be selling you half-eaten cardboard with a disc inside of it that just says "in work in progress, please wait." Yes, maybe I'm overreacting. However, I do think it's kind of ridiculous how much money gets spent on games in general.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's basically it for the article. There's like more quotes from them, but you can read it yourself if you're interested in what that has to say. It's just sort of more part of what I said. Anyways, moving on to the next bit of news. Yeah, sure. This will be my last rant for the day. So over the, let's see, when was this? May. Okay. So over the last week, over the last week, a server malfunction at Xbox caused quite a lot of games to stop being playable because the servers were down. So basically, the Xbox games being played through Xbox Live or other downloaded games were unplayable due to the server outages, due to a server outage that happened over the last week. And this isn't really a wake-up call, but this is another reminder of what Xbox likes to do with their DRM, which is to say, basically, this is something Xbox tried during the infancy of the Xbox One, where basically the entire system and everything to do with it was always online DRM and server connectivity, and they got blasted to hell and back when they initially released it because everybody knew that was a terrible idea for the customer. It's like, always online DRM, you can't play what you own because of the DRM in it. I'd also like to point out that it goes even further because it, like, yeah, sorry, where was it?
What?
Sorry, it goes even further than that because apparently even this affects like basically a lot of digital games, even through Xbox Live. It's basically like, even if it's games that you specifically had stored on a hard drive from a previous console that you put onto the new one, you would have to play it at least once before the DRM went away, which means you could potentially be locked out of certain games for long periods of time if you never just played through it a little bit to make sure the DRM goes away, which is ridiculous. It's very odd. I mean, it's not odd because it's what Xbox likes doing, and it's very easy to lock things away with that kind of DRM. But like, it's very, I mean, I can just say it's not good, but like, that's not helpful information. Me saying it's not good is not helpful. Yeah, games that are downloaded to my console should have a window online playable. Anyways, so yeah, so this has basically been a bit of a wake-up call to people being like, oh yeah, this isn't good. The DRM, this isn't good for games because they're always online, which means you can just potentially be locked out of games forever because of their DRM stuff. I hate DRM a lot because it's so pointless. Like, DRM is something that a lot of companies tried to use to stop like pirating and hacking, because if it was always online, that meant that pirating would be harder because you would need an internet connection to pirate it. Except pirates, if they want it, they can get around it. That's just how it works. And all it really did at the time was make it worse for just the customers who actually wanted to buy your products, which is a weirdly common occurrence when it comes to piracy. Thinking about it, companies don't want pirates, don't want people to pirate their stuff, so they make it harder to pirate, but unintentionally or intentionally makes it harder for people to just buy their games normally. Anyways, I will say also, Xbox also there was an update to this article that said Xbox came back with a response to this and said, full mitigation of this week's against Xbox server issue is expected in the coming days and come part as a new console update. Forthcoming system update, rest issue intriguing. So yeah, so Xbox is going to release some kind of update to address the server issue. Probably won't deactivate the DRM on it, but maybe people will remember this for the coming years and actually do something about it. Somewhat unlikely, but anything to say or add? Okay, yeah, that's about it for that, and that'll be my last rant for the day. One more piece of news that is more interesting than this is a piece of news that's like, oh, that's kind of cool, instead of this is fucking ridiculous. So PlayStation recently released a new update for the PlayStation Vita and PS3 systems. They added two-factor authentication is now required to sign in. You can no longer make an account on the system. You have to make it on their website. And yeah, they basically added a new security update to the old consoles, which is kind of interesting and kind of cool. I don't know if it means anything for future, but it's kind of cool and nice that they're actually updating some of the security of their older systems, at least to some degree. You know, it's more of a happy than a dumb, especially considering all the dumb we've had today. Yes. So these updates will be installed, and the PS3 will be sitting at firmware version 4.89, while Vita will set at 3.74. And yeah, that's basically it for that. It's basically just released they just released a new security update for the old systems, which is nice. Maybe it means they're trying to focus on something else. I don't know. But hey, cool stuff.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the news. So, sorry, let me take a drink. So, anything else to add, or can we just move on? Okay, cool. So let's get into shameless self-promotion, shall we? The part of the show where we shamelessly promote ourselves. Matthew, what you got going on this week?
This week or
Yeah,
next month?
Just promote yourself. Come on.
I don't know how long
actually,
it'll be, but
yeah, hold on.
How about
So
we restart the meeting?
Let us be right back, and then we'll start shameless self-promotion. One. And we're back. Sorry about that. So let's just
get
what
am I doing this week?
Self-promotion and then end this thing, okay? So
Yes,
Matthew,
what am I doing this week?
Or just promote yourself in general. Where can people find you? What do you have coming up that people may or may not want to see? Excuse me.
I have 2 YouTube channels. One of them is currently branded as Mystical Meanderings, and the other one will stay branded like this as Thologram. But in relation to what I have coming up, I don't think I have anything coming up this week, but eventually I will have the first episodes of The Explorers of the Forgotten coming up. But yeah, and then I'm also working on a game system. Like I said, who knows how long that's going to take.
All right.
Not at the moment.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. And people can find. Oh, you already said where people can find you. Okay, Devin. What about you?
Well, not much. I don't know.
All right,
I don't know.
Where can people find you then?
You can find me on YouTube under my various channels where I make Minecraft videos or magic videos or videos about like some essays that I need to actually start working on the script for, or where I make videos where I interview people and ask them questions. And I'm trying to remember what the other one was, but I think that's it. And recently I have a video that hit 2,000 some views, which is very exciting.
Wow. Is it that clip?
The edited clip?
Yeah.
Yes, it's one of those. It's a clip from so these 2 guys talking about Game of Thrones, and I got permission from the guy who did the stream. I clipped out a portion of about 5 minutes and then edited it, and it's good. So.
All right then. Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else, or are you just? Is the summer heat frying your brain like it is mine?
I mean, summer heat does feel like it's fried my brain. I probably should drink more water. I'm out of water. I don't know.
All right then.
Yeah, I kind of. The thing is, I want to make more magic videos, but they take forever to make. And I want to do all sorts of stuff, but it takes forever. So I just choose not to do it. But then I also don't do anything else with my time.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could play video games. You could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could procrastinate by playing video games instead of procrastinate by doing nothing.
Yeah.
You would be doing something at that
Then
point.
you could have material for the podcast.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing later. I think this next week, my goal will be make one Magic video at least. Play one video game that's not Minecraft. And write a short story. I think that's my goal. I'll get a little note page out. I'll write it, and you can check up on me next time.
All right, then. I'll try and hold you to that.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's it for you.
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right, cool. So as always, for me, the GTD podcast will continue to be uploaded hopefully every week, barring anything happening, like, I don't know, my house burning down, which I don't know.
Unlikely.
Well, it's definitely unlikely in this heat. Makes sense. Anyways, where was I?
I would
yes, the
think.
GTD podcast will continue to be uploaded every week. Hopefully, to gaming comment the discussion on YouTube and GTD podcast on SoundCloud. If you want to listen to it audio only and don't like our faces for some reason, or maybe you just want to see our faces and not listen to the audio at all. I don't know. Maybe
you think
that's
that
okay. But yes. This heat is getting to me. So other than that, like I said, the other videos I was thinking about are still semi in the works. I just need to, like Devin, do it. Still nothing expected, maybe within the next month. I don't know. If I can get an air conditioner again, maybe I'll feel more inclined to sit in front of my hot computer and write something. I know I didn't have an excuse before. My excuse was being lazy, but hey, at least I'm not being lazy by being lazy. I don't know what I said. Let's just ignore that and move on to something else. So yes, you can also find me on Twitter, GT Gaming. You know what it is. Gaming comment discussion, gaming discuss. It's just a fucking Twitter where I update on whether or not I released a video. It's nothing worth following in the goddamn slightest. But hey, you could do it anyways. Huh.
You haven't subscribed and rung that bell.
You could do that. Oh yeah. I know this is incredibly off topic, but YouTube fucking changed its way. Changes goddamn UI again, and it annoys me.
Yeah. They like doing that.
Yeah, I know, it annoys me. So now the description doesn't. Now the description doesn't even fucking work right anymore.
Yeah,
anyways.
I saw that they changed the UI. They did that like 2 days ago.
Yeah, really fucking stupid. It annoys me. It annoys me more now that I actually upload videos because you can't even see what I'm writing in the description anymore. It's now more similar to the mobile app.
Wow.
Than it ever has been. It really frustrates me, and it's dumb.
It doesn't make sense for a desktop.
No, it doesn't. Anyways, yes, you can find, you know where to find the podcasts. You're either watching it where you found it, or I told you where to find it. It doesn't matter. Other videos may be coming up within the next month. I just need to get a little motivated to do it, and also air conditioning. That's another thing. Order of priority, as I've been saying this week. Yeah, that's about it from me. So that was shameless self-promotion. End of the show. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of the GTD podcast. I hope you enjoyed
Yeah.
what you sat through, even if there were numerous cuts and weird things going on. Yeah. So yeah,
That
I
sort
hope
of
you
thing
enjoyed it.
happens sometimes.
Also, my brain frying from the heat is not helping my talking ability.
Fair enough.
But that is just a theory. But yes, I hope you enjoyed. You've probably already stopped watching the video at this point. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, do all those things that make it spread around the internet like wildfire. Yeah, see you next time, possibly. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, there we go. I almost